You open Netflix. You're hungry for something good to watch. Thousands of options. Every genre, every show people are talking about. Should be perfect, right? 20 minutes later, you're still scrolling. You've looked at the same shows 4 times, nothing feels right. You're exhausted, and you end up watching The Office again. This isn't just you being indecisive. This is a psychological phenomenon called the paradox of choice, and it's destroying user experiences everywhere. More options should make us happier. We should find exactly what we want. But research shows the opposite happens. When you give users too many choices, 3 things break. They can't decide. They don't trust their decision, and they feel worse about what they picked. This is why Spotify has Discover Weekly, why Amazon has recommended for you, why Tinder limits your swipes. They're not helping you find more. They're helping you choose better by showing you less. That's choice architecture. Let me show you exactly how this works, why your brain does this, and how to design interfaces that help users actually make decisions. In the 1990s, researchers did an experiment. They set up a jam tasting booth at a grocery store. One day, they offered 24 flavors. Another day, just 6. The big display attracted more people. But here's what happened with purchases. 24 flavors resulted in 3% buying. 6 flavors resulted in 30% buying. 10 times more purchases with fewer options. This became known as choice overload. And it happens in interfaces constantly. Your brain has limited processing power. Every option you evaluate costs mental energy. It's called decision fatigue. When you're comparing 5 things, you can hold them in working memory. When it's 50 things, your brain gives up. It either freezes or picks randomly just to end the pain. And even if you do choose, you experience something called choice regret. You wonder if one of those other 49 options was better. This is why restaurant menus with 200 items make dining stressful. Why clothing sites with endless filters leave you buying nothing. Why scrolling Netflix feels like work. The paradox is this. We say we want infinite choice, but our brains are happier, make faster decisions, and feel more confident with constrained choice. So, if you're designing an interface and thinking more options equals better experience, you're probably making people miserable without realizing it. But here's the thing. You can't just remove everything. Users need to feel like they have choice, even while you're limiting it. That's the design challenge. This is where choice architecture comes in. It's about structuring decisions so people can actually make them. Let me show you how the best products do this. I'm going to break down 3 specific patterns you can use, and I'll show you real examples of each one working. Pattern 1, smart categorization. Instead of showing everything at once, group options into meaningful categories that match how users think. Airbnb doesn't show you every property in a city. They ask, are you looking for an entire place, private room, or shared room? That's 3 options, not 3,000. Then they narrow further. What dates, how many guests? Now you're seeing maybe 50 options instead of 5,000. But it doesn't feel restrictive because you chose the path. Your brain experiences this as control and personalization, not limitation. That's the trick. You're reducing cognitive load while making them feel empowered. Amazon does this too. They don't put every product on the homepage. They show you categories, then subcategories, then filters. Progressive, narrowing. Each step eliminates thousands of options, but you only see the next logical question. You never feel the full weight of choice overload. The key is that your categories need to match user goals, not your internal structure. Users don't care how your database is organized. So when you're designing this, start by asking, what is the user trying to accomplish? Then structure categories around that answer. Test this with card sorting. Give users a set of items and watch how they naturally group them. Don't impose your logic. Discover theirs. That's pattern 1. Break overwhelming choice into progressive categories based on user goals. Let's look at pattern 2, smart defaults and recommendations. Most users will take the path of least resistance, so design that path carefully. Spotify's Discover Weekly is genius choice architecture. Instead of 100 million songs to choose from, here's 30 we picked for you. You can still search anything you want, but they remove the burden of choice by providing a smart default. Most people just press play. Amazon's recommended for you does the same thing. They analyzed millions of purchase patterns to guess what you want. You're not browsing everything. You're evaluating their suggestions. This works because of a principle called satisficing. Users don't need the perfect option. They need a good enough option that they can find quickly. If you hand them a good default, most people will take it and be happy. The presence of other options makes them feel control without requiring them to evaluate everything. Think about iPhone setup. It has hundreds of settings, but it comes with smart defaults for everything. Most users never change them. That's intentional. The alternative would be asking users to configure everything from scratch. That's 50 decisions before they can even use their phone. Exhausting. So when you're designing, ask, what do most users want most of the time? Make that the default. Then allow customization for people who need it. This reduces decision fatigue for beginners, while preserving control for power users. Best of both worlds. But be careful, your defaults communicate values. If you default to autoplay, email notifications, or data sharing, you're making a choice for users. Make it the right one. That's pattern 2. Provide smart defaults based on what most users need, but preserve the ability to customize. Now let's talk about pattern 3, progressive disclosure. Show people what they need when they need it. Hide complexity until it's relevant. Gmail does this perfectly. When you compose an email, you see to, subject, message. That's it. 3 fields. Simple. But there's a tiny link that says more options. Click it and you get CC, BCC, formatting, scheduled send, priority, labels. Probably 15 more features. Most people never click it. They don't need to. But power users have access to everything. This prevents overwhelming the majority while serving the minority. Tinder does this with profiles. You see a photo and name first. That's your primary decision. Swipe or not. Tap the card and you get bio, interests, photos, details. They don't force you to read 6 paragraphs before deciding if you're interested. That's efficient choice architecture. The principle is, primary actions should be obvious and easy. Secondary actions should be accessible but not distracting. When everything is emphasized, nothing is emphasized. Progressive disclosure creates hierarchy by revealing information in stages. This also helps with mobile design. You have limited screen space. You can't show 50 options at once. Progressive disclosure lets you fit complexity into small screens. But don't hide things users need frequently. If 80% of users need a feature, it shouldn't be buried 3 levels deep. Only hide the edge cases. So when designing, map out, what does everyone need? What does some people sometimes need? What's rare? Then reveal complexity progressively based on those frequencies. That's pattern 3. Start simple and let users drill deeper only when they choose to. Now, let's tie this all together. Here's what all 3 patterns have in common. They reduce cognitive load without taking away control. That's the balance you're trying to hit. Users don't want to think hard about every decision, but they do want to feel like they're making decisions, not having decisions made for them. So, you structure the path, but let them walk it themselves. You curate the options, but they pick the winner. You provide defaults, but allow overrides. This is why good UX often feels invisible. The user thinks they made all the decisions. They don't realize you designed the decision space carefully. Bad choice architecture overwhelms you with options. Good choice architecture makes you feel smart, fast, and confident. That's the difference. The next time you're designing, before adding another filter or option, ask, does this help users decide, or does it just give me more to show? Because more options usually means worse experience. Counterintuitive, but true. The paradox of choice is real, and it's affecting every product decision you make. Use smart categorization to structure exploration. Use defaults to reduce decision fatigue. Use progressive disclosure to manage complexity. These aren't just theories. They're based on decades of research into how humans actually make decisions, and the best products in the world use all 3. If you apply these patterns, your users will make faster decisions, feel more confident about them, and actually complete the tasks you want them to complete. That's choice architecture. That's how you turn the paradox of choice into better user experiences. Now go design something that helps people actually decide. Thank you for watching. If you like this video, drop a comment and subscribe for more content.